Okay, hey, what's up, YouTube? So Let's see where he's at here. Partzilla guy. There he is. So this guy here, and you know, good to have him. And I actually like to review videos.
Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today I'm going to show you how to change out.
He does a pretty good job, but when he gets to this part, let me see if I can fast forward it for you. Okay.
Now we can go ahead and put our pin through.
So he tells you to actually put.
Now we can pull out on the caliper and go with the other side. That's all going to go back together. Feed up the inside one first. Pushing in on the caliper a little bit. All right, it's there. Now we can pull out on the caliper and go with the other side.
I'm going to stop him right there. Now, I'm going to let you watch this because he pauses the camera here like this is so easy to do. I'm going to let you watch this. Watch the breaker right here.
All right, so I've got it both held up.
Hear that discussing how long that took to get that done. Like, it wasn't easy. Well, first of all, if you put the rear one in and you start messing with that, if you put the inside in first and you start messing with that caliper, there's a good chance that thing's going to fall out. I think the manual tells you to put the outside one in first so you can put the pin in a little bit and then you start working on the rear. There's another reason you want to work on that rear too. Last is because not only is this one now holding in the pin once you get it up there and get it seated properly, be careful, make sure you get that thing seated. But the other reason is it's a lot easier to push that caliper than it is to pull that caliper. And let me tell you what, on these OEMs, you are going to need every bit of your strength to push, and it's a lot easier to push. Like I just said, than it is to, and I'm going to get back on my camera here so you can see it. It's a lot easier than it is to pull, okay? And that's the only way that I got that pad to go inside there. Now, right away, when I finally got that thing seated, and I mean it was pushing with all my might with my left hand and jamming that pad up with my right hand, that I got that thing to slide in there. But there was absolutely, I want to say almost no room. If any, it was, well, there wasn't any room because the wheel was so hard to turn, okay? Once I got that seated and then I put my screw in and torqued it, and then I've got my, put all that back together. But here's the issue, okay? With that being said, because it was so tight up in there, the calipers, and again, throw comments in here if you're a wrench. Remember, I'm a loan officer by day, okay? A wrench, like, not even close to it. So if you've got some advice for me, let me know. But the caliper pistons that make these marks right here, I can never, with the screwdriver technique, get those things to be flush with that inside caliper. I don't think it looks like they don't push on this side, okay? So I think this is the outside here. I believe this is the inside. When I say inside, I mean closest this way, okay? Closest to the saddlebag. I guess that's the inside. Might be the outside. So, but anyway, that's the one I think that has those pistons pressing in. I can never get those things fully regressed. Now, do they go fully in? I don't know. That question to anybody out there that may know, okay? Please let me know. With that being said, with those things sticking out, and I'm talking maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, with those things not pushing completely back, it is so super hard to get those pads in, okay? Now, when I first put the pads in, I could barely turn this wheel, okay? And I'm gonna get underneath here now. I rode this road like this for about 20, let's say 25 miles, okay? My rotor looks good. I don't see any, burning or anything like that. But now, I can twist this wheel like I used to be able to. So I did a lot of Googling after I wasn't able to do this before. I could move it with one hand, and that's what one of the forums said. As long as you can move your rear tire with one hand, you're okay. This is the first time since I got back from my 25-mile-an-hour run or 25-mile run that I've tried this, and you're seeing it now live here. So this was not spinning like that. I would move it like that, and it took some pressure for my one arm to turn it. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to let it in. Other people say it takes time. There's some stuff in there that's got to burn off. At first, it'll burn off. Other people were saying, you've got to bleed brakes. You've got to, your pistons didn't reset properly, all that stuff. So they were screaming, do not ride the bike and whatever. I took a chance and went for it, and I'm kind of glad I did. It worked out for me. Okay, this thing is back to, that's about what I had before I changed the brakes. So it worked out. So I'm going to let people know, if you get that thing in there and you have the same issues, if you're able to do it, then relax. Okay, if you're able to turn the wheel even just a little bit with that tire, those things are going to seat in, and then you're going to be fine. So then comes to the discussion of, do you put the OEM fronts on the rear? Okay, that's what I want to talk a little bit about, to make it just so damn much easier. Okay, now will you have to change those out quicker? Because I'm telling you, I've done that before. I've put the same size pad, when I'm talking about pad, the same size thickness. I bought some knockoffs, and they were about that size. You talk about making your life easier on that rear brake change, that would make it easier. Not only that, but you actually have wear marks on the front pads, and for some damn reason, Honda decided not to put them on these. There's no wear marks on there. These go clear down, if you can see those. Those goes clear down to the pad. I mean, when you see no wear line, you need to change the pads. You don't know when you're looking at these rear ones, and they're so damn hard to see anyway. What can I get out of here? I know I could probably get another 5,000 miles before I start getting close to that metal on these. So these pads really didn't need to be changed, but you can't tell that. So the discussion here is, another part of the discussion is, should you put these on? Now, people scream, no, they're different. I'll tell you what's different. The size is exactly the same size, okay? They are that size, okay? But this one has this little notch in it, okay? You see that? There's a little notch. Now, I've tried to look up underneath there. It's so hard to get behind there. It's on the other side that you can actually see where that fits in. And I've tried to get my camera up in there, guys. I'd love to show you, but I just do it. But I can't make you, because the light is just not bright enough or something. But this has a notch too, and I think this little notch is the only important notch that's on there. And I'm talking about this right here, okay? That is the important notch that seats up in here like this one does. I can't see anywhere where this piece really needs to be there. And I say that from experience because I put in knockoffs that didn't have that small notch in there. They just looked just like the front pads, and they worked. And yeah, they're thinner. You're going to have to replace them sooner. But I'm here to tell you, I'm almost willing to do that over the pain. And these things right here would just have slipped straight into there with no issues whatsoever. I'm telling you, the other ones are twice that size. So, the discussion is, and if anybody wants to, combat me or ask or tell me that there's some reason to put these on there, please let me know. Again, do you see where that notch fits into anything? God, I'm going to try to let you see this again. I'm going to try to get my brightest light up underneath there, and we'll try it again. Get my bright light in here. Oh. And we're going to try to see this caliper. Let me spin this around. So there we go. Let's see if we can see that, where that fits in. Okay. You see that, there it is. Is that it? I got to see my eyes first. Okay. What we're looking at is that copper piece where you want, what you want to look at. Okay. You see, there's going to be a copper piece in here. Okay. And you see the notch. Now, it looks like there's something that could be possibly catching that notch, but the most important one is to the left. And again, I can't put this light down, but if you look to the notch and you see something is in there, it looks like it does actually fit in there and sticks up in there. So there's a little bit of a notch in there. But I think the most important one is just making sure, and I'm looking at the other side here. Yeah, the most important one is the one on the right side of where you see that center notch at. That's where it hooks in, okay? And again, it's so hard to see how this looks in. Make sure you check this, by the way. This is where you want to check it from my last video. If that inside one's seated, because where you change them out on the other side, you can't tell, okay? You just can't see it. So you've got to come over on this side of the bike to make sure that you've got that in there properly. And it's in there. If not, you're going to bust out some rivets. I did it on my old motorcycle. So, but that's the discussion, guys. Can you, or does it make sense for comfort to go ahead and put fronts on the rears? Again, I've done it, so I think it's okay. I never had any issues. I probably, before I sold my red one, okay, it wasn't the red one, it was the 2008 Goldwing, but I put those brake pads in. I probably did easily 10,000 miles before I sold it, and I had no issues whatsoever. So that's this day. We'll talk about one other thing here, because I had somebody comment on my last video, and they said, don't worry about putting this on the back of the brakes. And why do you put them on the back of the brakes? Of course, not the front that touches the rotor, but don't put them on the back. I do that because, in my opinion, and this has helped with every brake pad I've ever put on a motorcycle. I've put on quite a few on different bikes, but it helps with any squeaking. It's not like these things have the squeak when you get down to a certain thing. They don't start squeaking, okay? When you have squeaky brakes, normally it's because it wants some of this on the back of the brake pad that fits up against where the caliper squeeze in. So let me know if you have the same success with that, okay? Because I don't have squeaky brakes and I love it. And I've done it on every one, and since I do it, I don't have. On the ones I've changed some on a Vulcan 900, put this on the back, no more squeaking. They were squeaking before that. So let me know your thoughts on using lubricant on the back of that. And I did do what Partzilla John said there, to go ahead and put some of that too on the end of the caliper thing. So I guess that allows it to move a little bit better, or move back and forth. So I do that too. But that's it. That's the discussion. Let me know your thoughts. Drop comments. Later, YouTube.